Hey Gabe, can we go up a few more floors? This elevator music is catchy.
Fine. Okay. And back to our floor finally.
Aw, come on, just one more floor.
Jag? No! We've done this now for what I think is the 10th time!
It's not my fault the theme keeps stopping on a weird note. Except for that one time.
Yeah, and then he wanted to hear the theme all over again. Well, enough is enough. We're at our floor, and... What was that?
Hey, what's this blinking red light mean?
What blinking red light?
I think it means the elevator's stuck, Gabe.
No, do not say that. Anything but that.
I think it also means we're trapped in here.
Okay, anything but that.
And it'll probably take them a while to get us out.
Okay, see anything other than that then.
There's just no pleasing you, is there? What? It's not like it was anybody's fault in particular. Simply because we stayed in the elevator longer than we planned.
Let's just do today's review. Activate the remote cam with the satellite uplink. Hey there, welcome to Missing Link. I'm Gabe.
And this elevator music is really starting to get on my nerves.
Well, on a related note, let's talk about Megaman.
And how Capcom keeps giving him the short end of the stick.
Yeah, it seems that Capcom keeps shortchanging the one character who pretty much built their company. Ever since Mega Man Legends 3's cancellation, it seems that every time there's talk of Capcom releasing another Mega Man game, it gets cancelled.
What's your deal, Capcom? Did Dr. Wily just take over your company or something?
But these aren't the only times that Capcom has shortchanged its fans. Back in 1993, Capcom and Ashton Productions produced the first Mega Man cartoon about a year after the release of Mega Man 5.
Now, Gabe, the Ruby Spears cartoon isn't exactly an award-winning series, but I wouldn't say Capcom shortchanged us with it.
That was actually the second Mega Man cartoon produced by Ashton Productions, and also in history. This cartoon was a 3-episode OVA series made in Japan, and aside from the fact that Ashton Productions produced it, it also had plenty of other connections to the mentioned Ruby Spears one.
You know, aside from both having Mega Man's original game characters designed before America improved the second cartoon ones.
Yeah, afraid it's true, both the OVA and the cartoon we saw here in the United States had the same character designs at one point, but then the show was given the American treatment. Since anime wasn't yet mainstreaming here yet in the States, the producers felt they'd give them their own unique look. Though personally, I was never a fan of the muscular look of Mega Man and the Robot Masters.
In the Ruby Spears cartoon's defense, Capcom has come up with weirder Mega Man designs.
So onto the OVA itself. Production-wise, someone else had a hand in making these OVAs. The Japan Center for Intercultural Relations.
Don't see why that matters. Probably just some company that the Capcom had to go through for...
They're responsible for these OVAs being educational videos about Japan.
Wait, what?
Well, as I said before, Capcom wasn't the corporate giant it is today. Keep in mind, this is just a theory, but it could be that Capcom was having trouble financing these OVAs. While it was doing great at the time, they also had several other projects going on. Game making is not a cheap business, so it'd make perfect sense that they'd go to another company for help. Enter into the scene the Japan Center for Intercultural Relations. It's likely, in exchange for financing the film, Capcom had to make the OVAs educational on some level.
Either that, or a bunch of these got to them.
It's unlikely that the organization went to Capcom to license their characters, as usually, whenever such educational videos are made, they have poor production quality, and the licensed characters are nothing more than a guy in a suit with live-action footage. Though this further begs the question as to why Capcom held off on releasing these OVAs to the American market for so long, after going to so much trouble to produce them. So the first OVA begins with a kid by the name of Yuta Kobayashi playing a Mega Man game. From here we learn that Mega Man and his friends live in a video game world, which they can apparently leave at any time if someone leaves the game running in the real world.
Hold on. First we have Peach, Bowser, and his minions escaping Mario's TV in the Super Mario Bros. OVA. Now this. Are all televisions just a gateway to a video game world?
The real question being is, all the Nintendo Entertainment Systems in the world, along with the countless Mega Man games sold over the years, and Wily just now noticed that big giant screen? You think that'd be something hard to miss? So Wily escapes into the real world and flees into the night. In the morning, after Utah finds that the game was left on, and with some fiddling with the controller, somehow brings Mega Man and Rush into the real world too.
His parents' reaction to all of this? Slight surprise, and that's about it. Guess all the kids who hid those aliens and giant robots from their parents in other films had nothing to worry about.
Now here's where the plot starts to get dull. Mega Man, through simple reasoning, figures that Wily will head to the biggest city in Japan to build a robot army. And rather than simply take out a map and point Mega Man in the right direction, the family decides that the dad should simply take Mega Man to Tokyo via monorail, so we can learn more about Japan. This is proven even more pointless when Mega Man decides that the monorail is taking too long and simply flies away on Rush.
And nobody seems to care or notice that Mega Man and Rush are flying around in the real world.
Though they may be more distracted by this, which leaves me wondering, where did he get all these robots in such a short amount of time? Yeah, it was mentioned he'd be looking for a factory to build his robots, but seriously? He was only in the real world for one day, and he not only found a suitable factory for his needs, but managed to convert present-day materials and resources into future-like robots?
Plus, nobody noticed until now that one of those factories was turning out a whole army of these things? The guard must have been on a serious coffee break.
Well, Mega Man and Rush show up to stop Dr. Wily, only for all the robots to combine to form one big one.
Make my monster grow!
After all of Mega Man's other weapons fail, he defeats it with a charged kick and a soccer ball.
At least he didn't use top spin. That'd just been silly.
Well, before Mega Man can capture Wily, the mad scientist reveals that he's a ninja to escape. Did I mention that these OVAs had the same show consultants as the Ruby Spears cartoon?
Must have given for what happens next.
Now, for some odd reason, Mega Man needs Yuta's help to get back to his house so he can get some help from the game so as to recover. It's mostly just an excuse to keep the kid involved in the plot, as for some odd reason Mega Man just can't use Rush to fly him there. What's even odder is that the boy has trouble deciding whether to help his friend or go to class. This kid's priorities are seriously mixed up. He has trouble deciding to help Mega Man so he can stop Dr. Wily from taking over Japan, or going to class.
A true moral dilemma if ever there was one.
So back at Yuta's house, the boy manages to bring Eddie into the real world so as to heal Mega Man. Yeah, apparently he can do that now. In fact, now the kids can do this whenever they please. It's never explained how they learn to do this. It's just some random ability the kids gain. Can all kids do this in this universe? Or are they or their television just special or something?
You don't know what you can do until you try, Gabe.
So after this, Mega Man flies around Japan looking for Wily, with Utah for some odd reason. This is all mostly for the sake for the kid to teach Mega Man and us more about the country. Aside from the fact that all of this just slows and drags the main plot down, Mega Man is putting a kid in danger for no reason. There is no reason for this kid to be here other than the facts about Japan he tells us that have little to nothing to do with the story.
We then get to hear some of Mega Man's great logic.
What do you think Wily's trying to do? He's probably creating a robot of something the Japanese people fear most. Something that they fear the most.
As awesome as that would be, no. Instead they come to the conclusion that Japanese people are most afraid of volcanoes. And through this logic, Mega Man decides that Wily is at Mount Fuji. So they go to Mount Fuji and we learn that Dr. Wily's built an entire base there. Okay, the army from before was a big stretch. They at least put some explanation into that. But here?
Maybe Dr. Wily has an unlimited charge account to Acme?
So Mega Man gets to fighting the robots, but it isn't long before he and his friend find themselves surrounded. Back with Utah's sister Akane, she uses the game to call for more help in the form of Beat and Proto Man. And just in time too, because Utah passes out from the fire caused by the robots.
Because it's always smart to bring kids along in dangerous situations.
With the help of Proto Man and Beat, Mega Man manages to beat Dr. Wily's robot masters. And I need to point out how easily he defeats them. These guys go down with a single shot. In the games, it was always a challenge just tackling just one of these guys. And Mega Man floors them here like they were nothing. For crying out loud, the robots he was facing earlier gave him a bigger challenge than this.
Maybe they were speeding things up for the grand finale.
So Wily tries to escape in a rocket, only to get knocked back into the TV by Proto Man, sending him back to the game world. That's pretty much it. Mega Man and the others say their goodbyes, and they all go back to the game world too.
But at least Wily's a good sport, because he smiles and waves like everyone else.
Sadly, the other two episodes aren't much better. In the second one, we open with Utah playing Mega Man again. This time, his sister fights with him over the controls because he's late for celebrating New Year's Eve. And this somehow brings Mega Man to their world again, and sending Wily to Dr. Light's lab for the sake of the plot.
Oh, it gets even crazier from here on out, folks.
So it turns out that Dr. Light invented a time machine. Why, it's never truly explained, but surprise surprise, Wily steals it and winds up taking Roll captive. And what's even more strange, it sends him to the real world. Okay, why and how would it even do that? It's a time machine! And most stories I've seen about time travel, most time machines don't send you to some odd parallel universe. Okay, I said most stories about time travel.
So what does Wily, in all of his genius, do with his newfound power?
Instead of going the sensible route and, going back through time to try and prevent his greatest enemy's existence, he instead uses it to gather meteorites from the past to drop on Japan. Oh, and to steal snacks from kids. That's all he ever does with it.
You'd think he'd at least use it to play the pony tracks.
After a skirmish with Dr. Wily, Mega Man learns what Wily's scheme is. With some glasses made by Dr. Light, Mega Man uses them to spot holes in the space-time continuum so as to use them to chase after Dr. Wily. During the chase, Mega Man manages to save Roll, but Wily gets away.
Well, you'd think with Mega Man knowing what Wily's big plan is, Wily would alter it or altogether change it.
Nope, he intends to carry it out to fruition. So Dr. Light tells Mega Man Co. that they're not strong enough to face Dr. Wily, aka they need a means to reach him in space. Why? In the opening we saw Rush flying through space with no problem at all, but now he needs a booster rocket for some odd reason. What's more, Wily's method of using the meteorites just makes his plan all the more stupid and pointless.
He hollows them out and puts rockets in them. You'd think a missile launcher would be just as effective.
So Mega Man defeats Wily's giant robot, and the destruction causes his base to fall apart. With some quick thinking, Mega Man uses the time machine to escort Wily to Earth, and they all go back home. So on to the third and last OVA of this series. Like in the previous episodes, we open with Mega Man in his game world, finding Dr. Wily, and...
Was Roll attacked by a Hallmark card or something?
Well, this time the kids willingly call Mega Man Roll into their world, so as to celebrate a festival with them. Okay, the physics of this universe seem to dictate that playing a Mega Man game alone can give Wily a window to escape into the real world. Why would you risk this just to invite two friends to celebrate a festival? especially since Wily's tried to destroy Japan 3 times now.
You'd think their parents would have chucked that crap out the window by now.
You think so, but no. Oh, and guess what Yuta and Akane forget?
Oh, let me guess. They leave the game on.
They leave the game on. And through this, Wily escapes into the real world. Again. But Dr. Light does have some good news. He managed to repair the time machine. And rather than go the sensible route and just go back through time and prevent Wily from escaping in the first place, they instead go 1 year into the future to see what Wily's scheme is.
Oh, hey, look! It's Angel Island!
So Megaman and Roll discover Japan is in ruins, and what remains has been converted into a giant floating city. They investigate only to be attacked by giant building robots. After Wily's robot masters show up, they're forced to retreat. Upon their return, they eventually learn that it was a typhoon created by Wily that did all of this.
Well, at least this scheme isn't as harebrained as his last one.
Well, Dr. Light builds Megaman a fan to fight typhoons with, and when another typhoon hits, Megaman and Roll use the time machine to go back through time to stop it before it even hits. Upon getting there, Megaman tells Roll to stay in the time machine, which begs to ask why he even brought her along in the first place.
So she could go and pull this crazy stunt.
And from this, the time machine is promptly ruined. You'd think we get a time paradox from this, as we now have 2 Megamans and 2 Rolls in the same place now, but it's never addressed. Wily, in return, resolves to throw an even bigger typhoon at Japan, which floods several regions, and raises several massive chunks of the city into the air.
I'm no meteorologist, but I'm pretty sure typhoons don't work that way.
So Megaman, Protoman, Beat, and Rush fly off to deal with Wily once and for all. Megaman confronts Dr. Wily and his Typhoon robot, and with some help from Protoman, he manages to beat it. We then get something of a plot hole. We learn that Megaman went back into the past with Wily to fix all the damage he did, but how? Wasn't the time machine destroyed?
Maybe he hitched a ride with the Doctor? Or Dr. Emmett Brown?
Either way, the episode ends with Megaman and Wily delivering presents on Christmas. Megaman says it's to make up with all the damage that Wily's caused, even though nothing is said about the countless innocent people who probably drowned from the floods he unleashed.
Because apparently presents make everything better.
So these OVAs had a lot of ups and downs for them. Animation-wise, they're fantastic, especially in the openings. Story-wise is where the OVAs tend to fall apart. The pacing is sluggish, mostly due in part to all the information about Japan's culture that they try to fit in. I have nothing against learning new things about other cultures. But if you're going to make an educational video about Japan, make an educational video about Japan. But this probably wasn't the reason as to why the OVAs were shelved for 9 years. Due to all the things these OVAs and Movie Spears cartoons shared, like having several of the same voice actors, and both being done by Ashen Productions, it's possible that Capcom just didn't want the two competing with one another, or people getting one confused for the other.
They even had the same show consultants, which would explain why the plots were just as weird and wacky.
I could only recommend these OVAs to dedicated Mega Man fans in general, as otherwise, I'd say they're worth skipping.
Maybe next time Mega Man should just leave things to the professionals, like Big Bird. Hello? Are you guys about done with, whatever it is you're doing down there?
Yeah? Who is this?
Yeah, this is elevator maintenance. Turns out your elevator just had a minor glitch. We fixed it a little while ago. We'd, told you, but, you seem busy and, we didn't want to interrupt.
Hey! You're the reason we were in here when it broke down in the first place.
At any rate, I'm gonna go buy me a copy of Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball. I have a theory I want to try out.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, when you planned this, did you forget that all the girls in that game are also extremely lethal killers?
No, I was just hoping that they would.
Any rate, I'm Gabe.
And I think I need a medic.
And this has been Missing Link.